Right now, there are a lot of things going on in the world that might feel outside of your control. You might think that the world itself is coming undone. If you are a business owner, which many of you are, or if you're in a leadership position inside of an organization, which frankly most of you are, you probably feel like you have more going on right now than you can handle. You feel overwhelmed. You feel pulled in every single different direction. The question is, where should you be focusing? And that's quite frankly the entire point of this installment of the high performance world that we call the true drivens, right? I call this WTF, where to focus. And I strive to bring these to you guys at the end of a week because oftentimes the week itself, marked by a Friday, if for those of you that work the typical 5 or 6 day week, tends to come at the end of the week, right? So the idea is that how do we manage our focus as leaders? How do we manage our energy and ensure that we're not getting depleted? We're not going broke, not financially, but from a place of our morals and our energy and really, quite frankly, our life force. That is what we're talking about today. Now, I want to share something very important with you. Over the past several weeks, there's been tons of things that have been breaking in the news. And depending on your perspective on the world and depending on how you kind of filter these things, they may have been exciting and fun. They may have been not so great, maybe disappointing or flat out frustrating. If you are still subscribing to mainstream media, if you're still listening to that bullshit, then you probably feel less than awesome right now. So my first kind of little jab here is to ensure that you stop following those assholes. Now, I get you want to stay informed and you feel like you got to listen to this stuff so that you can be in the know and be on the point of the spear or the tip of the spear when it comes to knowing things. And here's my simple sort of submission to that. No, you don't. You don't have to listen to them. You don't have to listen to what's being said because, quite frankly, it's mostly bullshit. You can probably find better information and better facts in other areas. I'm not going to get into where you might find those because, honestly, I'm here for you. This message has nothing to do with what's going on in the outside world. It's rather about how you manage yourself relative to it. As leaders, you have way too much going on right now to worry about all the other bullshit that's outside of your locus of control. You've got people that are counting on you. You've got employees, you've got customers, you've got clients, you've got all kinds of things that are key and essential, not to mention your friends, your family, the people that are really important to you, right? So, how do you maintain your sanity? And how do you, more importantly, unfuck something that's been fucked up? Well, let me start with saying this. The most important skill that you can develop as a leader is the skill of clarity. Because most people in today's society operate from a place of certainty. They are so certain that they have all the information. They are so certain that their way is the right way. They are so certain that their information is pure and their viewpoint is well educated and well formed. And I think we can both agree that that's complete and utter bullshit. That is an experience that people are coming from. They're coming from a place of certainty. They're basically saying my way is the way or my way is correct. Identity politics have fucked this up. Just the way people are very divided and very polarized right now. All of these things kind of add to that cocktail of chaos. As a leader, you don't have the luxury of certainty. Your people that you are leading, the people that look to you for answers, they want certainty. But at the end of the day, what they really need is clarity. So, how do we develop clarity? Well, first and foremost, you have to know where to focus. And where to focus comes down to two very important things. I'm going to share them with you right now. Number one, you've got to get super clear on what it specifically is that you want. Now, what I mean by that is this. You have to clarify your vision as a leader. What is a vision? A vision is really that overarching look at or theme, if you want to think of it that way, the impact that you intend to make on the world, what you intend to create, what you intend to provide, what you intend to, kind of put forth into the world and the impact that you want it to make on the world around you. Now, am I saying the world as a whole? Not necessarily. Could be. And if that's how broad and how big and powerful your vision is, outstanding. Continue with that. But let's take some of the spice and some of the pressure off of your shoulders here and realize that it doesn't have to be the world broadly. just your world that you're impacting. You got to get super clear on your vision. This is for you true drivens. You know, this is one of the foundational things we talk about in the True Driven program and the True Driven philosophy is how to create that vision, how to define what that vision truly means. Not just define it, but then refine it. So right now, if you see yourself, if you identify as a leader, understand that one of the most important functions you have in your role as a leader is to create clarity around the vision. Now, how come I say this? Most people lack vision. They just do. If you ask somebody right now, hey, what is it you want? First and foremost, it's pretty rare that anybody in their life, even people closer to them, have taken the time to ask them that question in earnest. They may use it as a conversational starter or an icebreaker. Hey, what is it you want from life? But do they really care? Are they actually genuinely interested in the answer? Do they genuinely want to contribute to and help facilitate whatever the answer to that question might be? And sadly, the vast majority they're just not going to be that committed to it or that invested in it. So if you ask a person earnestly, what is it you want? Don't be surprised if you get kind of a deer in the headlights approach to the answer to their question, to that question. Their answer to your question will likely not be very clear. This is an awesome opportunity as a leader to help facilitate that clarity. But in order for you to do that for other people, the question I would challenge you with is, have you done that for yourself? Because it's very hard to do something for a person that you haven't done for yourself. It's not impossible. It's just that it's very difficult. And when it comes to something like clarity and understanding what it is you genuinely want, well, you've got to be really very clear for yourself. What is it that you actually want? What is it you're building here? If you're an entrepreneur, you've got to be crystal clear on the mission for your business, the vision for that business. Now, vision and mission are two different things. Let me get to that in a moment. You got to be crystal clear on what this thing is that you genuinely want to build. Not just, hey, I want to build a 7-figure business or an 8-figure business. We get that. But more importantly is, what is the impact of doing that? What will that facilitate? What does it actually mean? So whenever I work with my clients, you true drivens know this because we go deep on this. I will literally look for 3 specific areas, 3 specific things when it comes to defining what your vision is. First and foremost is, what is it that you actually want? Now, I've been talking about this pretty much this entire episode of what WTF is, what is it you want? But next in line to that is, what about that is important to you? You got to get clear on what's important to you, because if you just say, hey, I want a 7-figure business, how come? Like, what about that's important to you? Well, if it's just about the money, that's going to be a short runway, because eventually you will accomplish that or you won't. If you don't, it's typically from burnout. It's typically because you lost your way, or potentially because you just don't have the clarity of how to get there. We'll get to that in a second. But if you're not clear on the importance of it, the meaning behind it, then it's very easy to lose your energy. I'm not talking about your fucking why. I know all the gurus talk about finding your why, and your why should make you cry. Look, dude, stop listening to that fucking candy ass dime store advice. I'm talking about purpose. I'm talking about what's important to you for that thing. You want to own a badass car? Great. You want to own that big, huge house? Fantastic. You want to go on that huge trip, that fantastic trip around the world? Love it. But how come? What's important to you about that? Not because, hey, my wife told me to, or my husband thinks it's great. What about it is important to you? That's what I care about. And that's what you should care about. It's not selfish. It's important. And quite frankly, fuck it if it is selfish. You've got to get used to being that type of person that is okay asking for what you want, and not asking for what you want out of a place of greed or self-interest, but out of a place of saying, this is important to me. This is what's fueling me to help me lead this cause, lead this movement. And that's how it becomes a mission. So the difference between a vision and a mission is this: a vision is something very broad reaching. It could be a lifelong pursuit for you to actualize and realize and bring to life this thing called the vision, a lifelong pursuit. A mission, on the other hand, is going to be very finite. It's going to have a start and end date. It's not likely, hopefully not going to be the rest of your life. It could be, I guess, but mostly it's going to be a finite type of thing. It's going to be a very concentrated effort, a campaign, if you will, to help actualize the vision. You may have several missions throughout the course of your career, the course of your life. And if you're lucky, each one will be purpose fueled. And that's going to be the most important piece to this. But in order for that to be true, in order for you to actually have purpose to it, you got to get clear on what the meaning is. What about that's important to you, and how come it's worth committing 100% to? Now, once you've figured out what you want and what about that's important to you, then you have to kind of do a little bit more of the brain work and figure out what is missing. In other words, what do you need in order to actualize that? What do you need in order to make the mission go? What do you need in order to make the vision come to life? Once you get clear on those things, you're going to start to feel a true sense of possibility for this to happen. And if you even, like, let's just say a hypothetical scale of 1 to 10. If I said on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being completely not possible, 10 being absolutely going to happen, if you're anywhere south of 6, then do this work. Get clear on what it is you actually want. Get clear on what about that is important to you and what that means and represents to you in your life. And then, of course, get clear on what you need in order to make that happen. And you'll see that your score goes up. You'll feel that sense that it is actually possible because you start to get rid of all the bullshit and start to get what we call clarity. And clarity is king, not certainty. You don't need certainty. A lot of times people say, hey, JT, can you guarantee me that this will get that this will succeed, that this will get accomplished? Can you guarantee me that I'll get a return on my investment? Can you guarantee me all of these things? And that question, quite frankly, is coming from a place of certainty. And even if I could give 100% guarantees on that stuff, which nobody can, even if I could, that person still will not feel complete because what they're seeking is something that is elusive, certainty. Clarity, on the other hand, is something that can be seized and realized in a moment. And that's what's important as leaders. Our job is not to guarantee things. Our job is to provide clarity, to show people the way, to give them the tools and the resources necessary to help them possibly. But most importantly is to show the way. So in your business, in your organization, in your whatever the thing is that you're leading, your primary function is to get extremely clear on the vision for what it is you're building, create a mission around it, and then get really great at communicating it, which is actually step 2. So when I said that, hey, there's 2 priorities here, the first priority is clarity on the vision. The second one is clarity in your communication. Now, communication's huge. You guys have heard me talk a lot about this, especially you true drivens. You know that, hey, man, the better you can communicate your mission to your tribe, to your people, to your teams, the more they will feel engaged in that, the more they will want to contribute because they understand it. Again, it comes down to clarity, right? We're clarifying the vision. We're clarifying the mission. We do that through communication. So the more clear you are in communicating that, the more succinctly you can communicate that, the more people will buy in on it. How can you tell if they're bought in? Their engagement. Are they asking questions? Are they showing enthusiasm? Are they leaning in? If they're indifferent, if they're apathetic, then chances are they don't understand it or they're misaligned. Now, if they're misaligned, it's not the end of the game. Misalignment just simply oftentimes means a lack of understanding. So again, we want to drill that in. We want to work toward that. So how do you work with somebody who's not aligned? Well, first thing is you got to get curious yourself and find out what is it you don't understand? How might I help you better understand this? Where are your areas of confusion, or how come you don't feel like this is something you want to be aligned with? And then genuinely listen to them. Mouth zipped, ears open, notes taken. You might find through this discovery process that it was just simply them not understanding the mission, not seeing the bigger vision. And then once you're able to clarify that for them, all of a sudden you're going to see a huge uptick in their engagement, their buy-in, their contribution. But what if they don't? Well, guess what? You just did you and them a huge favor by figuring out that they weren't meant to be a part of this, and maybe it's time to separate ways. But here's the good news. As difficult as it is to fire, as difficult it is as it is to cut somebody loose from your mission, you've just done it in a very effective, natural way where both parties feel complete. They don't feel, kind of slighted, or they don't feel left behind. They just feel like, hey, this wasn't meant for me and it's time to part ways. And that's a good thing. That's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. And I realize as a leadership principle, the ability to fire and hire is important, but we're not talking about that today. That's not the point. The point is this: if you've got something in your business or your life that's fucked up and you want to unfuck it, number one, you've got to get clear on the vision. What is it you want? What about that's important to you? And what do you need to actualize that? Step two, you got to get great at communicating that. Communicate it strongly to the people around you, communicate it strongly to your team, communicate it strongly to anybody who is there to support you. Even if they are superior to you, they're above you in the chain of command, so to speak. But most importantly, the ability for you to communicate it to yourself. You got to be able to communicate your own vision to yourself. Yes, that means talking to yourself. Yes, that means writing to yourself. Yes, that means actually listening to yourself talk about your mission and your vision. Do you fully understand it? If you don't, go back to step one. Get clear on what it is you actually want. Very, very specific, painfully specific in what it is you want. Painfully specific in what about that's important to you. Yeah, I get it. I understand it inherently is not good enough. You have to be great at articulating it, putting it into words, both the written word and the spoken word. And when you can do that and then talk about what it is you need and be bold enough, vulnerable enough, if you will, if you want to call it that, transparent is the word I would use, enough to boldly ask for what it is you need and show that you don't have those things, but that you are coachable and open enough to receive those from the people around you who actually have the capability to deliver on that. Guess what? Now you're in the ball game. Because now you've got people who will align with the vision because they understand it and want to contribute to it because of how you are communicating it to them. That's what they're looking for in leadership. They're looking for somebody with the clarity to help guide. They'll contribute. They will be a part of anything you say, so long as it makes sense and they can understand the value. They can understand what it means. So that's it. It's very easy to get absorbed in all the bullshit and the drama going on in the world. It's very easy to point fingers. It's very easy to get embroiled in all of the nonsense and the negativity. The question, though, is what are you doing about it? In order to do something about a situation, any situation, whether it's yours or something else that you're pulled into, is to first and foremost get clear on the vision and then get great at communicating the path out or toward the vision that you're building. That's it. So that's my humble and earnest input to you on this Friday, the 11th of July, 2025. Whatever it is you're focused on right now, your big mission in business and life, get extremely clear on that vision. What is it you want? What about that's important to you? And what is it you need to actualize it? 2, get great at communicating it. And if in the beginning you're not great at it, that's fine. It takes repetitions. It takes practice. It takes getting it out there and getting that feedback from other people. But you know what's most important is practice speaking it to yourself, writing it to yourself over and over and over again, several iterations of that vision until it is crystal clear to you and you can communicate it as effortlessly as you can communicate your address, your social security number, or whatever. That's it. That's how we stay head above the water and keep ourselves from going fucking crazy in a world that seems to be losing its mind minute by minute. If you got some value from this, make sure you go out there and share it with people far and wide. Stay tuned for more stuff coming at you, especially with the True Driven podcast. New episodes coming out soon. And remember, no matter what course you fly in life, fly high, fly fast, fly far, stay driven.